Imagine yourself floating in a vast ocean of emotions, thoughts, and desires. Each wave that touches your skin is a life experience, a memory, a crossroads. Your decisions and actions propel your movement, sometimes forward, sometimes backward, and your consciousness is shaped, reflecting each small change in the tides of existence. This connection between the real and the transcendental leads us to the essence of the Wheel of Samsara and the sublime state of Nirvana. The Wheel of Samsara, or Wheel of Existence, is an essential concept in Buddhism that represents the endless cycle of birth, life, death, and rebirth. This cycle is seen as painful, driven by karma, and imbued with suffering. However, understanding this cycle and aspiring to transcend it can lead us to Nirvana, a state of complete liberation and serenity. In the Wheel of Samsara, our suffering is perpetuated by three poisons: ignorance, attachment, and aversion. These poisons trap us in a web of illusions, giving rise to a cascade of actions and reactions that form our karma. Ignorance prevents us from seeing the truth. Attachment makes us desire what we do not have. Aversion makes us reject what we do not like. Together, they keep us trapped in this cycle of suffering. But what exactly is karma? In Buddhism, karma refers to intentional actions that shape our future experiences. These actions can be positive, negative, or neutral, and each will plant seeds that will germinate and bear fruit in our future, in this life or in subsequent lives. Karma is the law of cause and effect applied to morality and human behavior. Let's now explore one of the deepest stories to illustrate this concept, the legend of Prince Siddhartha Gautama, who later became the Buddha. Born into a wealthy kingdom and protected from the realities of the outside world, Siddhartha had the revelation of human suffering upon encountering old age, illness, and death for the first time during one of his rare outings from the palace. These experiences triggered an insatiable thirst to understand the true nature of existence. Renouncing the comfort of his princely life, Siddhartha embarked on a rigorous spiritual quest. His journey was marked by extreme self-discipline, deep meditation, and a refusal to accept simplistic answers to life's great questions. After years of intense practice and experimentation with various methods, he achieved the state of enlightenment while meditating under the Bodhi tree. This enlightenment revealed to him the Four Noble Truths: the truth of suffering, the truth of the origin of suffering, the truth of the cessation of suffering, and the truth of the path that leads to the cessation of suffering. These truths form the core of Buddhist teaching and guide us out of the Wheel of Samsara and toward Nirvana. The first noble truth, the truth of suffering, states that existence is inherently unsatisfactory and permeated by dukkha, a term that can be translated as suffering, dissatisfaction, or distress. From the deepest grief to the slightest irritation, suffering is present in all forms of life. The second noble truth, the truth of the origin of suffering, identifies the three poisons, ignorance, attachment, and aversion, as the main causes of our distress. It is our ignorance that leads us to cling to the material and the ephemeral and to reject any discomfort we encounter. The third noble truth, the truth of the cessation of suffering, offers a ray of hope. Suffering can be overcome. By overcoming the three poisons, it is possible to achieve nirvana, a state of complete freedom and peace. Finally, the fourth noble truth, the truth of the path that leads to the cessation of suffering, is the Noble Eightfold Path. This is a set of ethical, mental, and meditative practices that guide practitioners toward nirvana. The Noble Eightfold Path consists of right view, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. To better understand these concepts, consider the metaphor of the lotus flower, often associated with Buddhism. The lotus flower rises from the mud, overcomes the murky water, and blooms on the surface, pure and untouched by the dirt from which it was born. Similarly, we can emerge from samsara, transcending our limitations and suffering, and achieving the clarity and serenity of nirvana. By practicing right view, for example, we accept the true nature of suffering and understand the interconnectedness of all things. Right intention leads us to act with compassion and purity of heart, while right speech guides us to communicate with honesty and benevolence. Right action involves making decisions that do not harm other beings, promoting well-being and harmony. Right livelihood implies sustaining ourselves ethically without causing harm to other beings or the environment. Right effort is the constant dedication to cultivate positive qualities and eliminate negative qualities. Right mindfulness invites us to be present, to observe our thoughts, emotions, and actions without judgment, with acceptance and clarity. And right concentration leads us to practice deep meditation, calming the mind and cultivating inner wisdom. Now, let's explore the lives of characters who exemplify these teachings. A notable example is Milarepa, one of the greatest saints of Tibetan Buddhism. Born into a wealthy family, he faced a series of misfortunes that plunged him into revenge and dark magic. However, after recognizing the suffering he had caused, Milarepa completely transformed, dedicating himself to the intensive study and practice of Buddhist teachings. Through immense discipline and devotion, he achieved enlightenment and became a symbol of redemption and human potential. Milarepa followed the Noble Eightfold Path with fervor, exemplifying right speech in his teachings, right action in his life of seclusion and meditation, and right concentration in his meditative practices. His journey is a powerful reminder that anyone can achieve nirvana, regardless of their past or circumstances. Another example is Reverend Jomai Kubos, a Japanese priest who brought Buddhist teachings to the West. Kubos was instrumental in adapting Buddhist principles to the Western way of life, facilitating their understanding and practice by people from diverse backgrounds. His life and teachings exemplify right view and right effort, spreading Buddhist wisdom and compassion through a bridge between cultures. These stories highlight the importance of karma and Buddhist practices in our daily lives. They illustrate how our choices and actions can influence not only our personal well-being, but also the society and world we live in. When we commit to the Noble Eightfold Path, we begin to shape a more compassionate, ethical, and conscious future. Unraveling the mysteries of the Wheel of Samsara and aspiring to nirvana requires courage, dedication, and patience. The path is not easy, but knowledge and practice can guide and inspire us. By integrating these teachings into our lives, we develop a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world around us, and move toward true freedom and inner peace. For each of us on this path, it is essential to remember that enlightenment is not a distant destination, but a continuous journey of self-discovery and transformation. Every step we take toward wisdom and compassion brings us closer to nirvana, a state of being that transcends suffering and reveals the true nature of existence. I am immensely grateful to each of you who dedicated your time and attention to accompanying this journey through the Wheel of Samsara and the hidden teachings in Nirvana. I hope this knowledge illuminates your path and inspires a continuous quest for spiritual and personal growth. May we all find serenity and freedom amid the tides of life.